كتاب الله دستوري كتاب الله دستوري وخير الخلق أسوتنا
بسنته جلا نوري لهدي الحق أرشدنا.
What is the word that you think you want to translate it? Yeah. For example, if that word which makes the confusion for you, what is that word? Just out of curiosity, what's the word that you think? Okay, okay.
According to him, according to him, he said the verses says it says a statement and then that stop, and then it start another statement and that one end. So each statement means different standard in terms of process, right? I hope I'm not quoting you wrong. Yeah.
To clarify,
okay.
I'm proposing an interpretation which we can read more about it, unfortunately it's in Arabic.
Okay, yeah.
Nash'at al-Dhurriya by Doctor Doctar. Okay? He is working with the Lajna of Commission for the Scientific Science in the Quran and Sunnah. So he's proposed the interpretation. The interpretation can only be valid if it's valid with the text. If you derive a meaning from the text which is not supported by any linguistic evidence, that interpretation is not valid. So what we're saying is, you said Sahih, no, this is just the name of a company, right? This is one translation. Now I have here a translation that last time I wanted to have with me. Now I've got it with me now.
Okay.
So why is this translation not valid and this valid and this valid and not this valid? It is a matter of choice which one you use, because every translator is in the mercy of their knowledge of the language they're translating from and the language they're translating to. That means they have to know Arabic and they have to know English in this case. Quite well now. Okay. Even so, translators will differ in their vocabulary, in their understanding of some of the terms, some of the concepts, some of the phrases, right? But here, what we are saying is, if we go back to the original Arabic, which is easy for you to even check, because now this has been transliterated, and you can have scholars who are not Muslims will tell you, yes, these verses, the word means this. Ma undafiq, ma itself necessarily doesn't mean a sperm, because ma is just water. When you drink, we say we drink ma. No one's going to say you drink something else, right? So why we have a distinct term used here instead of a word which describes like nutfa or mani? That is why it's significant. So classical scholars have interpreted depending on their understanding of science at that time.
And Arabic as well.
And Arabic, of course.
Of
course, Arabic, through the Arabic. What we're saying is, you are somehow thinking that the interpretation with natural phenomena is something that the classical scholars or everyone else in the past, they have sealed the interpretation. What we say, no. Quran leaves open the interpretation into the levels of the meaning for the future, because Allah tells us in the Quran, "Sanurihim ayatina fil afaqi wa fi anfusihim." Allah will show us the signs in the horizons and within ourselves until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth. That is why with natural phenomena you can have levels of meaning, and they're like peeling an onion. You can have deeper and deeper understanding of certain things.
Okay, like I said, I don't fault you with your opinion, where you're coming from and how you're interpreting every single verse in the Quran. The point I'm making is, if that is the case, and one interpretation by a certain scholar and another interpretation by a certain scholar and several ones as well, which goes the same way, and if all of them are wrong, and then one or two, I'm saying example, like an example, most of them says it's fluid.
Can I say to something? He didn't say all of them are wrong.
I did not say that too. I'm saying if the interpretation cannot be agreed, or choice of word cannot be the same, so that it will bring forth the same meaning, then the point is who do we trust? And you went further and said some will have the background understanding of the language and then the surrounding words around there so that you can do a better translation. So my question here is, if I cannot trust one of them, how should I trust yours? Because you're a Muslim, I'm not. So I cannot just, on the basis of you being a Muslim, trust everything you are saying, or me being a Christian, you should trust everything I'm saying. That's why I said it's better we pick a different topic so that will not bring much controversy. We can go ahead and discuss. Because with this one, we will never go around.
I see your point, but I think what you're saying is it's going to be applicable to everything that we discuss. Because everything they bring from the Quran, you will say it's a matter of interpretation by this translator and that translator. That means with a Muslim, you have closed yourself from any discussion which is meaningful. Because any subject that we discuss, let me finish.
Yeah.
Any subject that we discuss from the Quran, you will say this translation says this and your translation says this. Any topic to do with Quran. So that means you have somehow limited yourself from discussing any subject. But what I am saying is this. I've already provided the answer. We do not have to rely on translation because Quran is not revealed in English or in Chinese or any language for that matter apart from Arabic. When we go to the Arabic and bring your Arabic professors who are not Muslims to your aid, which is a fair thing to do, and you will see that the interpretation or the meaning that we are providing is something that is sound and based on the text. So this is what I'm saying. My interpretation, look, this is a scholar. Quran published by Oxford University Press by Professor Abdul Halim. Now, I don't need to give him his introduction, Professor Sowas. Okay? Look how he translates. Just to show you that, okay, it's all about translation. 86. Man should reflect on what he was created from. He's created from spurting fluid. Then he emerges from between the backbone and the breastbone. Look, A, footnote. The pronoun here is taken to refer to the person rather than the fluid. So clearly telling you the second part of this conversation or the second verse or ayah refers to a human being. That totally goes against your accusation that the Quran has anything wrong with science, because scientifically, in this instance, the baby is in between precisely the backbone and the ribs. So when we're talking about is there a scientific mistake in the Quran, if you read that interpretation, absolutely no, because that accusation that you had falls apart.
Okay, so that is interpretation you just quoted. Like I said, this is King Fahad and it's study international. So if by Al Mutanda Al Islami, yeah, so I should read what it's also saying. It says, so let man observe what he was created, observe from what he was created, full stop. He was created from a fluid, comma, ejected, comma, emerging from between the backbone and the rib. So, comma, comma, and then it says emerging. So, it does not stop like this one stop. And that's why I'm saying, sir, please. So, like I said, if I cannot trust this, I cannot trust that one either. Because you have already have the idea that the Quran is correct, you go certainly with one that falls in line with your interpretation. And it's not common in Islam, it's also in Christianity as well. Just like Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that Jesus is God, so they have to translate and the word was God as a God. But the contradiction is that when they go further, they make it capital God, which is contradiction. So doctrine is common to how each and everyone want to interpret the text to me. And I don't fault you, and I'm not saying you are wrong, and I don't think this one is also wrong. But the point is, because of positions, each and everyone will have understanding and opinion. And that's why there's no religion which is one. Every religion has sects because of different opinion and understanding. So that's why I'm saying some verses we can agree on, but the question is what discussion can be derived from, right? Because this one, like I said, it reads full makes sense. But this one, it didn't say full, it's talking still about the fluid. And therefore, it contradicts, this one I have contradict what you have, and therefore it cannot make any meaningful understanding of the text.
Open up this, I'll show you again. I'll show you why we need to read consistently, right? I'm going to use this, which you think it's supporting your case, right? Okay. You see the numbers? They refer to a new verse or new ayah.
Yeah.
Okay? So when it's referring to new ayah, if you read it all by itself, emerging from, what emerging?
Comma here.
No, it's not what comma. Arabic has no comma, right?
No,
Arabic has no comma.
Translated, not mine. I'm
let
telling what is here.
let him translate.
Yeah.
Okay? So you would think it translates. Okay, let's move on just to understand if you follow the same principle throughout. Indeed, he to return him is able. The day where secrets will be poured forth, that he will have no power or any helper. Verse 10, right? Ayah 10. Then he. Why did he say man in here? In brackets. It means the text doesn't have it, right?
No, because the previous verse says observe from what he was created from. Observe from what he was created from, not how he was born.
Let me give you a bit more on this.
Yeah.
In this ayah, then he will have no power or helper. It's the same structure as like this emerging. He emerging.
I disagree anyway, honestly.
Excuse me, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
You cannot disagree on something with no knowledge. I'm giving you and imparting with the knowledge for you to reflect on this bit more. This word, then he will have no helper. The word implied here in the brackets. Can someone hold this? Oh, okay. It's not in the original text in Arabic. The translator decided to put man to refer to this he. But man is mentioned further up. The earliest mention about a thing that is being created is the sperm. So he could have just said then the sperm will have no power. So why did the translator, instead of putting sperm in there, or fluid rather, put man in there? Because the context, that's my key point now, hear me clearly. The context allows us the meaning to refer to the man, even though man is mentioned much higher up. Yeah, higher up. So in a grammatical term, you should refer to a noun just immediately mentioned, not a noun mentioned, long time before the text in any language. When you're referring to any pronoun, right, with a verb or a pronoun, here and there, again, it is referring to something higher up. I am saying this, the verb which has a pronoun embedded within it. In Arabic, there are verbs which has embedded pronouns. For example, when I say I eat, even though it says akulu, it has an embedded pronoun of me as a first person. Yakulu, he eats, even the same words, but there's no huwa or ana in there. This is Arabic language. So here, I am saying, if you refer consistently to this grammatical usage, emerging can be applied either to the fluid or to the man.
Thank you.
Yeah?
That's
to the man. Good. I am saying, when you have the possible interpretation of both of them, you cannot use one of them and say, there you go, Quran gets a scientific wrong, mistake here, when equally a valid interpretation based on the language is available. Yeah? And not only this, the reason why we are saying is, throughout the context of the Quran, nowhere this verb is ever applied to the gushing fluid, always applied to the man. So linguistically, my interpretation that I am offering you has a more of a sound basis. So having now two possible interpretations, one offering to you when you're being discussed, more backing from language and context, and yet if you choose to take another interpretation that you think somehow shows the Quran is in error, then that really shows you cherry pick. But just to point to you, and I'll hand over to you, but I want to discuss also that even if you take your interpretation that it means the gushing fluid, the Quran is correct even there. So we'll discuss that.
Okay, that is very refreshing. Like honestly, if we go by what you said, context.
Yeah.
So it says, first one says, so let man. Okay.
Oh no.
Let's see. It says from here.
Yeah. Context.
So let's say from verse 4, will give us the context, because verse 3 has nothing to do with verse 4.
Sorry. Sorry, just one second. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You understand?
Yeah. This is another level where it goes even to the very origin. But I'm just going the second level, not third level. Carry on. Sorry.
All right. So I'm saying the whole discussion starts from verse 4, not verse 3. Do you agree?
The whole discussion starts from the very, very first one.
No,
because no.
Okay,
when we look at the context, okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Sorry to take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
When the Quran starts by the sky and the night comer, and what will you make what you know is the night comer? It is a piercing star.
Yeah.
There is no soul, but that it has over it a protector.
Yeah.
This introduction is not there for eloquence and beauty. It's establishing something that's going to proceed immediately. So let man think. Meaning what before there is something that will be connected to the evidence that's provided.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but for you, it's just from there. Carry on.
Yeah. So it's talking about soul and then a protector over the soul, right? Verse 4. Yeah. And so then he went to verse 5 and says, so let man observe from what he was created. So he's talking about from what he was created, not how he was born.
What was created?
That's my context.
Yeah.
So he says observe from what you were created from, right?
Yep. Clearly.
So from verse 4,
yeah,
it cannot mean anything different from verse 6, which is going to explain from what man was created from. Okay? So verse 6 says, he was created from a fluid, ejected, emerging. So this one is fluid, ejected, emerging. It's online. From between the backbone and the ribs. It's not talking about giving birth, because the context says from what man was created from, not how he was born. So your context of it could be that how man was born, or you could also apply to how the fluid ejected and then emerged. The context give more credence because of verse 4 and verse 5 that man was created from fluid, which is what it says, ejected and emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Now, since by my opinion, I've established that the context does not allow your version that man was born from because of the context. So you say even if it's from the ribs and the backbone, you're going to prove it. So let's go to the proving of my perception.
No, just open up. We're going to use your copy.
Yeah.
Why stop there? Why do you think the context finished here? Carry on.
Because it's talking about how man was created.
Yeah, but that, so
wait, sir. It's context, you said.
Yeah.
The context says observe from what he was created. So it's on creation, how he was created. Okay. If you go to verse 6, 7, it says from 6, it says he was created from fluid, ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. Now verse 8 says, indeed, to return him is able.
Return who?
The man.
It doesn't say man there, by the way. The text doesn't say man.
Okay.
The verse doesn't say man.
So first of all, You say we should observe from what he was created, right? Man should observe from what he was created. So he's talking about man.
It's all about man all the time.
Exactly. So I'm saying.
So now you're going to come to me. This is about man.
No. I said the context says from what he was created.
Who's created? Man.
Man.
So he's talking about who? Man.
Process of creation.
No, talking about man's creation.
Yeah, process of man's creation.
Yes.
And I'm saying verse 5 says, let man observe from what he was created, not how he was born. Okay? How he was created or formulated, not how he was born. That's not the context from verse 5. So verse 6 is now telling us how he was formulated or created.
Sure.
And then you go further and say
7.
No, 6.
Okay, 6 we know. Yes. It talks about a fluid gushing forth.
Coming, it has to come and go out and go somewhere, right?
And 7.
So it says what? He was created from a fluid, ejected and emerging.
No, don't say and emerging. There is no and
ejected,
there. It's totally different verse.
He was created from a fluid, ejected.
You're going back in circles again.
From between the backbone and the ribs. It's not talking about giving birth here.
Theo.
That's my argument anyway. So
Theo,
you want to prove it. So
yeah, let's open it. What we are saying, inshallah, what we are saying, we have to go and when it's no.
Yeah.
Let me finish in 2 minutes and then we continue after salah.
Yeah, no problem.
What we are saying here, when he says let man think from what it's created from, the answer immediately is in verse 6. Verse 7 or ayah 7 is a different argument altogether, like verse 8, 9 and so on. You are conflating that the next part, because when Allah gives evidence, sometimes He gives evidence in multiple layers, not just one evidence, 2, 3, more. The first evidence is what is man created from? Created from a gushing fluid of water. The word that are described, that I mentioned to you earlier, ma'un dafiq, which is something that is doing its own running, proceeding, propelling.
Yeah,
and we know that this that. So scientifically you should say amazing, because this is a feature that is we have learned today. Okay? Because we've only observed this through a microscope, right? Microscopes is a recent thing, not 1400 years ago, right? 1400 years ago. So yes, so when man is observing and he's saying, wow, amazing, yeah? The second part, I'm saying, is a different argument. Just like it continues in verse 8, indeed he's able to return him. Now him, it doesn't say man anywhere in the text, but the context says it refers to the man. Just like I am saying, the context says the second verse number 7 refers to man. You somehow take verse 8 referring to man and not to the fluid. And yet, verse 7, you want to refer to the fluid. Do you see the inconsistency?
No, I'm saying the observance.
One moment.
It's not man, it's on creation.
One moment. Do you see your inconsistency?
I am consistent.
Verse 7 and 8, you take 7 referring to fluid, 8 referring to man. When none of the nouns are mentioned, it's only verb and a pronoun referring to something, could be either or, but you somehow take referring to one or the other. Why?
Let me chip in. I'm saying the context is not on the man, but how that man was created. So if you move from the creation process to a man, you are jumping the gun, because it says let man observe. Observe what? How he was created. How do you then move from the formulation of creation and jump to a man straight away? No. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you say you're going to pray.
They're standing now.
I'll wait for you.
No, what we're saying is just this point. No, of course, we'll continue. What we're saying is man is created from, and then an additional information is given how the man is proceeding. But anyway, we will take the interpretation that refers to the fluid, and I will demonstrate to you, God willing,
that's what I want to hear.
This is because not even a scientific mistake, right? So this is about 5-10 minutes.
No problem.
Would you be here?
Yeah.
Yes. Would you be around here?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, good.
What's the thing?
Robert's machine about this place. Well, there's no bathroom anymore, isn't it? So you've got to go to the hotel or down there. I'm just going to pray in the hotel while the kids are
نهج حياة جئنا تبصرة عن كل ضلال. أعددنا بضع رسالات تحمل نورا للأجيال. معنا نهج حياة جئنا تبصرة عن كل ضلال.